Shrihari with Stealth Communications. So Stealth has different types of business units. So one of them is we operate a service called the Big Apple Peering Exchange. But before I get into that, I think John's brought some very excellent points up. Internet exchange points are very crucial, to the internet. It provides the meet point, so to speak, around the world where networks come together. The internet, again, is made up of hundreds of thousands of networks. They need to find common points where they can come to exchange traffic. Without internet exchange points, the alternative would be IP transit or direct cross connects, and both options are quite expensive and sometimes may not scale. So internet exchange points, traditionally have not been located in the carrier hotels like the Napa America, 6th Century, and Long Wilshire until just recently. They were typically located in internet data centers, off beaten paths, spurs, of other carrier hotels. And I would say over the last couple of years, this has changed the major way. Actually, maybe the exception of America because that was built from scratch.
Yeah, we built it around the exchange, but that was built to be that.
Mm-hmm. So it's actually quite fascinating to see these internet exchange points. Now, they're not standalone businesses. These are typically cost recovery models. You charge a small monthly fee. The mix is based on a cost recovery model. John's giving reports for the most part, right?
We're charging
a small nominal fee, but cost recovery.
Our charges now are somewhere between Terremark's and yours.
So these are not standalone businesses, but again, supplementary to our main businesses, and they aim to really help networks come together and exchange traffic. So in New York City, it was quite interesting. You have local internet peering points, but they're not really in the main carrier hotels. So we worked with Telex to locate a peering point at 6th Hudson Street. For the folks who are not familiar, the 6th Hudson Street is just like the Napa Americas or 1 Wilshire. Typically, that's where all the subsea cable systems from Milan to come in. There's a big meet point. Every floor in the building, you have major carriers, major co-location operations. But we decided to put an internet exchange point at Telex, where over 200 to 300 networks come and physically interconnect and put the transmission gear. It's actually the cheapest point where you can do internet peering at the carrier hotels because that's where your transmission equipment is located. And what we're starting to see is that's where the routers are now being relocated. So if that's the case, it certainly makes sense to peer your traffic there then rather than extending your IP backbone from the carrier hotel to another site to peer only to bring it back. So hence the creation of the Big Apple Peering Exchange. Big Ape was originally launched as the NY6IX. That sounds like a technical thing, but it was designed as a native IPv6 exchange point back in 2001. It was designed as a distributed IX, located primarily at 6th Hudson Street with extension nodes at 101 8th Avenue and 24 Broadway. And we were able to do that quite successfully because V6 traffic was quite small and we lit up a couple of gigs to initially launch it. And Hurricane Electric, along with some other Sprint, KDD, IJ, France.com, original members of that platform. In 2005, together with Telex and Force 10, we created and launched the Big Apple Peering Exchange. And the idea was really to not allow IPv4 peering, but enable low-cost peering services at 60 Hudson Street. We merged the NY6IX platform directly into the Big Apple Peering Exchange back in 2005 towards the end of the year. So kind of what the architecture looks like is we have Force 10 Ethernet switches deployed. We actually have an E300 sponsored by Force 10 that sits at the Telex 6th Street 9th floor meet me room. And then from there, Stealth has dark fiber that goes out to 24 Broadway and 111 8th Avenue, some other carrier hotels in New York City. And using that dark fiber, we have installed a WDM system. It's a two-part system. We have passive filters, and then we have an active side where we convert 13, 10, 15 wavelengths from customers, standard optical inputs, and we convert that to unique wavelengths to transmit over the dark fiber back to our Force 10. On the Force 10, we have CWDM or GWDM optics. So in this type of architecture, it allows us to reduce our operational costs and capital costs by simply provisioning wavelengths from these other sites directly to our main switching site at 60 Hudson Street. So in terms of members, we have about 10 members over at 25 Broadway, 15 members at 60 Hudson Street, and 8 members at 111 8th Avenue. Just over 30 members on the platform. Approximately 23 of them are IPv4 in terms of the support of the current internet protocol, and 16 people support IPv6, the next generation of internet protocol. Traffic statistics. The Big Ape is still relatively small compared to other exchange points. We carry on average at least about 15 gigabits per second, peaking to about 22. Actually, it's now about 30 gigabits from our latest stats. These stats just go up to the beginning of June. So it's definitely growing. We're seeing a lot of adoption for 10 gig ports on the platform now. The Big Apple peer exchange is based on a cost per model. We charge $1,000 annually per gig port and $2,500 a year for a 10 gig port with a nominal one-time cost to cover the cost of the line cards or optics necessary.